What's up, beautiful people? My name is Derek Standiford, and I have the high honor, the high privilege, and the great pleasure of interviewing somebody that I widely respect, man. We got Mr. Walter Wally B. Jennings on Solving Sundays today. Wally B, man, one, thank you from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul to agreeing to doing the interview. How are you today, good sir?
I'm doing excellent, man. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for the invitation and invite. Really excited about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So for those of y'all who don't know, man, Wally B is one of those people that I want to make proud. Before we got on, we were just chatting when I needed a little direction, when I needed to refocus, and I'm so glad that I'm doing the justice and making this man proud. I keep telling people all the time that when you want to make somebody proud, man, you'll move mountains for them. So, man, I want to thank you for being one of those individuals that I want to make proud, Wally B, man. Thank you for real for passing the torch to me and trusting it with me. So, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Well, you've definitely done a tremendous job, young man. I mean, I can't again express how proud I am of what you've done, not only poetically but personally, and how you have aligned the challenges and the opportunities in your life in such a way that has just been phenomenal, man. And as I told you before we came on the line, man, this is just the beginning. It just starting. So excited about it. What's ahead?
Yes, sir. So, I see he's representing that black on black round logo on his shirt. Oh, I should have put my jacket on. So on Solving Sundays, what we do is juxtapose solving the twists and turns of the Rubik's Cube to solving the twists and turns of life. So we take movers and doers and shakers like yourself, and we go into how you now navigate the twists and turns of life. So step number one of solving the Rubik's Cube, step number one of solving your life is to believe. So if you could give us a brief, what do you do, Mr. Wally? What is it that you do? What is the torch that you choose to carry right now in this era in your career?
So previously, a lot of people know me as one of the founding members of Back Talk Poetry Troupe, which is the organization that started Black on Black Rhyme, which I know has probably been mentioned numerous times. Black on Black Rhyme has shows that started in Tallahassee, Florida. I actually founded the first Black on Black Rhyme outside of Tallahassee here in Tampa, which we will be celebrating 20 years this coming September. So Black on Black Rhyme Tampa will be 20 years old. So I'm one of the founding members of Back Talk Poetry Troupe, the founding member of the Conscious Party, which started Black on Black Rhyme here in Tampa. Of course, there are shows in Atlanta, in Jacksonville, in Abu Dhabi, in Columbia, South Carolina, in Mobile, Alabama. So we all over and international with this thing. And also the founder of Heard 'em Say Youth Arts Collective, which is a youth youth arts organization that is based out here in Tampa. That will be 13 years old. No, 14. What time? How old are we? 7. We'll be 14 years old next month. And so you talked about believing, and what I'm presently involved in is I previously worked for 15 years at the University of South Florida. I was the facilities manager and public events coordinator for the Alumni Center, and I left for 4 years to focus on Heard 'em Say as a nonprofit entity. And I actually got recruited back to the university to serve as the assistant director of diversity initiatives in the USF Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of the university. And I serve as the program director for an organization called the USF Black Leadership Network, which is an organization that was created to support the matriculation of Black and African American students through scholarship support, mentorship, and also professional development. So it was actually a opportunity to take some of the beliefs and things that I was doing in the community, being able to apply them in the secondary education sector. And so, yeah, it's tremendous work. I love it. You talk about belief. I mean, I have no offense to any other positions, but I literally love my job right now. And so it allows me to walk in my life's purpose in what I'm doing. And every day is an expression and an exercise in my beliefs and my values. And yeah, I'm a firm believer, and I'm an example, proof positive of when you follow your values and beliefs, then those opportunities and those doors will open for you.
So you highlighted several points. I just want to hone in on one. Black on Black Rhyme, 20 years as being a leader. I heard them say 14 years as being a leader, and you're a highly recruited individual. So, when you look at leadership, you want to look at longevity. Black on Black Rhyme is celebrating 23 years this year. Black on Black Rhyme Tampa is celebrating 20 years. When you got good leadership, it shows in the longevity. People are sticking around, they're staying, and they want this thing to continue to grow. A lot of times people start stuff, especially in the poetry realm, you see stuff start and end all the time. So, thank you for your keen leadership and allowing the organization to plant a seed and nurture that seed and grow into a fruit to a tree that's producing other seeds, man. So we see a lot of people from your work. Dennis out in Tampa Bay is doing amazing things under your tutelage. Curtis, I had the opportunity to cross paths with him. Phil Scott, man, is an amazing mentor of mine from Black on Black Rhyme. And it's just we can go on for days and list the people in Tampa Bay who are doing amazing things. And then two, highly recruited. When you're doing your purpose, when you're doing something that's not work, and it's you would do it for free if you didn't have obligations. But that's when you're in your passion and you're allowed to really maximize your full potential and truly serve in the way that God intended you to serve. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Wally. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Indeed.
So after we believe in ourselves, after we step number one is to believe. After we believe, that brings us to step number two of solving the Rubik's Cube and of solving life. And step number two is to solve your cross. Solving your cross means to identify your why, your reasons. Why are you doing the work that you're doing? So what are the reasons that allow you to serve in the manner that you choose to serve, good sir?
So my journey actually started, I trace it back to when I was in the 8th grade. So when I was in the 8th grade, my English teacher had given us an assignment to keep a diary. I was like, I'm a dude. First of all, I'm a dude. Second of all, I'm a black dude. Third of all, I'm from West Tampa. We don't do no diaries where I'm from. I do it, and after I got a few F's, I was like, look, I ain't go, all right, now I do a journal, but I ain't doing no diary. You know what I'm saying? So I started writing because it was a part of a class assignment. And one day my teacher came to me and she said, Walter, would you mind if I share some of your poems? And I say, well, what do you mean? She said, well, your journal entries are actually, that's poetry. And it's great. And I think your classmates would really be encouraged by them. And a little light bulb went off because as a young black boy growing up where I grew up, some of the things that I was into and some of the things that God had placed inside of me, they didn't really fit with the atmosphere that I was in. And the crazy thing was I wasn't mad at the world. I was mad at God and I was mad at myself because I stuck out like a sore thumb. And I know that certain people have the mentality where I'm a rebel, it's me against the world. Like I wasn't that person. I was a person like, man, I'm just trying to come in, be like everybody else, fit in and just blend in. And I had a hard time accepting who God had made me to be. And in that moment, what I realized is that I had begun to take on so many bad habits, really running from like who I genuinely was, doing stuff that really didn't fit my personality and was just all out of alignment, right? But in that moment, I realized that I was being acknowledged for standing in my truth because what I wrote in that journal was true. And someone was acknowledging me for speaking and standing in my truth. And so I was like, okay, this is different. You know what I'm saying? And so that started my journey with writing and with poetry. And so when you talk about the why, for me, my journey has always been tied to really embracing my truth, but not only that, providing a safe space and a platform for other people to acknowledge and to walk in their truths as well. So that's why you see the things that I've done have been a platform, not just for me and my art and my work, but also for other people as well, for them to come around and to be able to find themselves. So even when you talked about things like getting people that come around and stay around and getting good help, that's part of the buy-in. When people see that there's something in it for them, that they're empowered and that they're able to walk and experience things that align with their purpose and their calling. And so I've just been fortunate, to be honest, just to be like a steward leader and to be kind of a drum major, so to speak. And man, I've and even then it was a bit intimidating because you got all these people following you. And like, I'm one of those people, I'm not a real big risk taker. And so I'm like, man, Lord, I don't want anybody to fail. I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to mess up. And now somebody has irreparable damage because of my leadership. And the thing that I've learned over the years, right, is that part of your why helps to keep you covered even in your mistakes. And the Bible tells us that love covers a multitude of sin and also faults. So it's like, even when I mess up, even when I make a wrong turn, when it's done in a place where I'm being genuine in my pursuits and my efforts, I'm covered in it and I got a chance to make it right. that person come back, hey, Wally, you said something or you did something that hurt me. Hey, I really apologize. I'm sorry about that. And they know that it's not from a malicious place. They know that it's not from a place of maliciousness, or it's not from ego. It's not from anything driven by me trying to accomplish something for myself, but it just may be a lapse or an error in judgment. And so, yeah, my why is really walking in my path and embracing my truth, and also enabling and setting a platform for other people to do the same.
Man, one, thank God for that teacher who said let's put you on the spot like a Dalmatian and share your gift with the world. I think it's so critical when people are, if you light your fire inside of you, it's very easily to light the candle, light that fire in other people when you figure out what your light is. And I call it this Keith Rogers school of thought. Now you got people like Keith Rogers who selflessly push other people and never ask for anything in return. All they want to do is see you walking into your light, walking into your truth. And you got Wally B following that same mantra, pushing other people to walk into that light and walk into their truth. And we need people like that who just, I don't want anything in return. I just want to see you become your best self. And I remember, the praise that you have given me has encouraged me to keep writing and keep doing and to become a better man, father. It's just an honor to know you, man. It's an honor to know you. So thank you for that. Thank God for that teacher.
Man, bro, absolutely.
Step three of solving the Rubik's Cube. Step 3 of solving your life is to fill in your corners. So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions on this step. So, filling in your corners means is to immerse yourself in an environment that's conducive to your growth and your prosperity. So, part one: what kind of friends, what kind of associates, what kind of acquaintances do you allow in your circle that allow you to be the person that rub off on you to be the person that you are today?
So, funny thing is, right? So, let me take you back. So I started writing poetry. So that experience was when I was in the 8th grade, which was, I don't mind telling my age, because black don't crack. But this was probably back in 1989, like 1990, long time ago, right?
I was a 1989.
Yeah. So I was in the 8th grade, right? And so I wrote and I started writing, but I didn't share my poetry until 10 years later, until I was getting ready to graduate from the illustrious Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, October 1998. There was a fraternity, and it was homecoming week. And so there was a fraternity that was having this open mic, and I shared my poems, and they were well received. And what I remember, right, and when I think back on it, I'm like, man, why did I do that? So this is in October. I graduated that December. When I graduated, I did my poems in front of my family. And I don't know. And at the time, I was like, I just felt like I was onto something that I needed to share. And so when I look back on it, I realized it was the spirit aligning me with my family, letting them know that this was going to be an important part of my life moving forward. I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that I had stumbled upon something that meant so much to me as far as with sharing my work. And so, man, I fully engulf myself in the poetry world. With the writing, I got a whole notebook full of bad poems. Some of them pretty good, and what I'm saying is I just jumped into it head first. And as you mentioned, Keith Rogers, Keith was such a monumental influence on my work, on me as a man, on what people see from me poetically, and in the platforms and things that I built. Being introduced to the Southern Fried regional poetry family, man. I mean, it was like seeing the rise and the respect that Southern poets have right now, and literally watching it happen. You literally are watching history take place. And it was such an encouraging thing, because you're seeing places like Charlotte, they're seeing being built, and now to a place of national and international respect. You see a city like New Orleans become nationally and internationally renowned, whereas people wouldn't necessarily take them serious. And to be able to say, man, I remember when. And so having those brothers and sisters and associates and colleagues all around the nation, where you can look at somebody from a Greensboro or a Little Rock or Austin, Texas, and know that you got family, you got poetry family there, man. It was such an encouragement, from a poetical standpoint, for people to embrace you for, again, you walking in your truth. And I know that with poetry, just like with anything, everybody don't come around because they, are in it for the right reason. You know what I mean? And that's something that I know is becoming a big topic of discussion, but that's okay. Because the bottom line is those individuals that are genuine. I'm a big firm believer in kindred spirits. And the idea that as you carry yourself and as you walk in your truth and as you do the things you're doing, there are going to be divine appointments that are going to be set between you and others that are an important part of where you're going. So, there have been so many people that I've been paired with and partnered with over the years. I don't want to call no names because I don't want to get in trouble for missing anybody. Yeah. But man, it's been such a blessing. But I tell you, from a poetic standpoint, Black on Black Rhyme and Bat Talk Poetry Troupe, that's my foundation. As far as when you talk about the individuals that really poured into me and modeled and showed me what was possible. And that was my example of what I wanted to create here in the Tampa Bay area.
So you mentioned this concept of immersion. When you truly want to, do what it is you want to do, you have to immerse yourself in the environment. If you want to be a speaker, immerse yourself around good speakers. If you want to be a poet, immerse yourself around good poets. It's one of those concepts, we talked about, when I was lost and I needed a little guidance. And one of the tricks that I used to kind of get back focused on while it be, I immersed myself in motivational speeches, listening to positive messages on a daily basis, letting me know that I can maximize my full potential. And it's something so grand about truly immersing yourself in the environment. It's like putting a seed in dark, fertile soil and giving it the sunlight, the right nutrients to let it grow, as opposed to sand. Seeds aren't really gonna grow like that in sand, but if you give it dark, fertile soil with the right sunlight and the right fertilizer, it's gonna grow. And that's the importance of immersing yourself in the correct environment. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that. So you mentioned the Southern Fried Family, so you kind of already answered part two, what kind of environment you immerse yourself in addition to the people. But how do you feed your mental and your spirit? Zig Ziglar, he says that you are what you are and you are where you are because of what you allow to go into your mind. And if you want to change what you are and where you are, you got to change what you allow to go into your mind. So how do you feed your spirit and your mental to operate at the high level that you operate while the beat?
So I grew up in church. I grew up as a Christian. I was brought up in the church, and so for me it was Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday night Bible study, all of that. And so what was interesting is that as I began to get into poetry, there was this bit of conflict between what I had learned and how that coincides with what I was uncovering about myself and getting involved in this community. And to be honest, to your point, I did have to take a step back. And for me, when I took a step back from poetry, as far as with some of the poetic communities that I was in and around, I really wanted to make sure that I was connected. My spiritual foundation was firm, because I believe that that's the most important part. So making sure that I'm praying, that I'm reading the Bible, but also too, because I believe that what I've been taught and what I learned is true. Now I am on a journey to understand why it's true. And that's, again, is being open to everything, to things that I'm hearing, making sure that I'm running them by through my prayer life, that I'm meditating, that I'm allowing myself to hear and be heard with the different things that I'm reading, like not just dismissing something because it on the surface doesn't appear to be connected to what I believe, but taking the time to investigate and to study and to learn. And so those things have been a critical part of remaining connected, is adhering to my spiritual foundation. There were certain brothers that, again, like even certain brothers that subscribe to the Islamic faith that I've learned a lot from, and that they've been a part, whether they know it or not, they've been a part of some of the changes that I've made in my life, as far as some of the things that I stopped doing and some of the things that I've started doing. So it's being able to understand and come back to that centralized spiritual foundation and understand that everything is a part of one thing. And for me, that one thing is the spirit.
Come on, good people. I highly encourage y'all to follow Wally B, follow his endeavors, and see what he got going on. When I tell you, if you need an ounce of motivation, he'll give it to you. If you need some inspiration, he will give it to you. If you need some wisdom, he got it. So, step 4 of solving the Rubik's Cube, step 4 of solving your life is to take it to the next level. Now, taking it to the next level on the Rubik's Cube, we're solving the second row of the Rubik's Cube. That's 2/3 of the way. In life, taking it to the next level is continuing to grow, continuing to get better, never getting content with where you are in life, knowing that there's always a new level to climb once you climb to the level that you feel like you're supposed to reach. When you climb when you finish climbing the mountain, if you planted your flag at the top of your mountain, that means go find a new mountain to climb and plant a new flag. So why to be how do you continue to grow and how do you continue to get better in this thing called life?
Well, I tell you, Derek, like what you just described is exactly where I am right now. And what I want to do is, and everything I say, just so you know, is for me first. With my journey with poetry and some of the things that the Lord has allowed me to do and accomplish, like when you look back on it, it's like, man, that was a long journey, and it's important to celebrate it. But you're right. When you look at certain people in life, you can tell that they got comfortable with what they accomplished and they stopped growing. And so with me, I've realized that over the past few years, like, hey, you've done some great things and you've done some good stuff, but now it's time to go back into that place of remembering that you are a lifelong learner. And so for me, it's continuing to read, taking classes, and I'm in the process of taking a weekly 7-week workshop right now on diversity, inclusion, and equal opportunity in the workplace and what that looks like, and post-crisis leadership when we look at COVID. So really beginning to come back to that place of sitting at the feet of learning. And so, I think that that's an important part of again, making sure that you maintain the status as a lifelong learner, that not only are you may be an instructor and you may be an expert, but you also are always a student. So there's this balance of this duality of I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student. And so always in a place of learning. Even when I go in the classrooms and I do workshops, I always tell the students two things. I said, first of all, I am not the only teacher in this class, and you all are not the only students. All of us in this class right now are teachers, and all of us in this class are students. And the idea is, again, like I'm empowering them to speak and know that what you have to say and your experiences and what you know is valuable. And there are some things that you may have that I need to walk away from, and vice versa. I may be seen as the expert, but I am not the only person that has expertise in this classroom. The second thing that I tell them is that everything that we're going to do today has everything and nothing to do with poetry. We're going to talk about techniques. We're going to talk about different writing styles and content and things of that nature. But these things, the idea is for them to be applicable to life, for them to apply these principles and those various things to your life path. It's not just about constructing and creating a good poem and getting on stage and performing, and all that's great and well. But I'm of the opinion that if your work, if your poetry, if what you're doing isn't impacting the quality of your life and improving you as a person, like, then you ain't doing it right. And that's just, that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Mary Had a Little Lamb. So we speaking of audience to exist. Sonny speaks. Sonny, we're so proud of you, man. It's amazing to see what you're doing. My faves, she got that cards up. Wally B is one of the best men I know. Wholeheartedly concur. And then we have a supporter, Miss Lisa Star, future Dr. Star, is on, and she says growth and development is so important, no matter your age. And
right, absolutely, yeah.
Sonny, Wally B, man, you mentioned as a teacher, you let your students know that look, I'm not the only teacher here, and y'all are not the only students. And I think it's very important for an educator, for a leader, to understand the value in the people that you're impacting. As a teacher, I learned so much from my students. It is ridiculous. I learned so much from my students, and I wanted to unlock that, to let them know that y'all are also, in addition to being learners, y'all are also teachers. People are learning everything about you and your endeavors on a daily basis. So you got to make sure that you're being a quality teacher. Because you're a quality that people are learning from you when you aren't even trying. Because just because of the leadership that you chose to take on, you're always in the spotlight. So you have to make sure that you're a person that you're modeling, that people can model after you in the correct way, and that we can learn from you effectively without you even trying. So, and you do a wonderful job at doing that. Thank you for sharing your blessings and your light to the world. And Sonny said, period. Yes, Probably so the fifth and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the fifth and the final step of solving life is to see the bigger picture. Now, seeing the bigger picture simply means to keep your commitment to your commitments. When you set a goal, you got to finish the goal. You got to do it. So, what is your advice on keeping your commitment to your commitments and seeing through what you said you're gonna do?
So this is where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be honest and transparent, but and the point is not to be self-deprecating, but just be honest. So when I started Heard 'em Say, right, which again is the youth arts organization, I didn't have these lofty goals and expectations for it. I just wanted to provide a safe space and a platform for young people to express themselves. Everything that it grew into was really honoring what these young people express as needing in order to be able to move forward. Some of the those things we could have anticipated if I had a bigger vision for it from the very beginning. And so for me, I'm one of those people that it's like, if I see a need, I meet a need, and there and I'm okay with that, because I believe, the Bible says to despise not small beginnings, but it also says where the lack of vision, the people perish for a lack of vision. So you do, when you get ready to go into something, not being afraid to dream about everything that it can be. So that would be my encouragement to people, is that when you get ready to go into something, right? Like, don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the details of, like, I gotta accomplish like all this stuff in order to. No. What you want to do is allow yourself the privilege of dreaming about everything that it can be. My sister, right? My sister Sunny, she's a caterer, and she does amazing, outstanding vegan food. And the thing is, like, what she's doing with that, right? Like, I never would imagine and have seen like what she's doing and who she's doing it for. And so, like, but again, that's that dreaming big. That this is something that is national and international. And oftentimes it's easier. And I don't know if this is for other people, but for me, it's easier for me to dream big for other people than it is for me to dream big for myself. Like, even with you, Derek, like when you really started on your journey and started in your graduate level courses, of course, I was like, man, yeah, bro, you can do it, and you can handle it, blah, 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 like really encouraging you. But the thing that, again, being around young people as well, you got to eat everything you cooking. So it's like, I can't be imparting certain stuff to you, and I can't be teaching stuff and saying stuff and then not applying those things to my own life. So everything that I say and do is for me first. Am I preaching? Am I practicing what I'm preaching? And so, yeah, I'm learning how to dream again. Learning how to if constructively deal with disappointments. Learning how to bounce back from those things, from those failures, and see failures as learning opportunities. Okay, what happened, what went wrong, and being able to, recount and recap the things that happened, and then get up, dust yourself off, and then move forward. The Bible says that a righteous man, though he falls 7 times, he rise again. And so the point is that when failure comes knocking at your door, and it will, when disappointments happen, and they will, how do you resurrect from those moments? And so with me, I'm learning how to dream again. I'm learning how to, when I get a vision or I get an idea of something, to embrace everything that it can be, not overwhelmed by trying to make it happen in one day, not being overwhelmed by trying to make it happen on my own, and also too, not being overwhelmed by the details of when it's going to happen, not being enslaved to time, whether that be time relative to my age or time relative to the frame of when it's going to happen. It may take 5 years. It may take 10 years. It may be something that it may not even happen in my lifetime. And I got to be okay with that, because if it's something that where I'm meeting a need and I believe that it's going to be a blessing to other people, maybe somebody else, like as you mentioned, that believes in it too, comes along and carries that vision forward. But the courage to dream again and to not be overwhelmed by everything that something can be, and to continue to rise when failures and disappointments happen, are some of the key things that are so important in that.
This man said, learning how to learn through your failures. I heard a quote. It said, and 2 things happen to me. I either win or I learn. I never
There you
lose.
go.
We ain't know I learned. So, yes, failure can be set up to accomplish future goals. The doctoral journey can take lots of time and patience. It can. Yo, we have Sonny has been. Most of us are rich. We just haven't gotten our money yet. Why? Come on, come on. You said you gonna preach
That see that what I'm talking about. Folk good for throwing your words back up in your face and reminding you of what you said when you try to feel sorry and get down on yourself.
And that's the great thing about when you got Wally B, man, when you plant seeds, your seeds grow and they nurture and they develop into trees. So once we see ourselves as you will never be an equal in my eyes. I'm gonna always be a follower in your footsteps. But once we get on the same playing level as you, now it's time to hold you accountable by and Wally B. You gave me these words. I've revolutionized my life and changed my trajectory because of your words. So now you got to hold your words accountable to yourself. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. That poem has gotten me through the rushes days. Okay, so I think Sandy, that's an amazing transition. So, Wiley, we have officially solved the twists and turns of the Rubik's Cube. Thank you for sharing how you solved the twists and turns of your life. I purposely asked you to be on Solve It Sundays during National Poetry Month because of the work that you have done on the poetry scene, nationally, locally, and internationally. So it would only be befitting. It would only be befitting if you were blessed the beautiful people watching today. What a poem of your choice would it be? I think it would be a great honor if you would just do us that courtesy, good stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna do this poem because I know my sister Sunny is watching. My baby sister Sunny is watching, and for you as well. I know this is one of her favorite. This is one of her favorite pieces, and yeah, it's National Poetry Month. It's Autism Awareness Month. It's Child Abuse Awareness Month too. So we have from a poetry standpoint. I think and I like to be symmetrical when it comes to aligning things, but both of those things speak to future. When it comes to our children, and so I'll do this poem. All right. I can feel the change, and I'm not really sure of who I am, but I know that I'm not the same. Not exactly sure of where I'm going, but I know that I'm on my way. I'm walking it out instead of just running my mouth and remaining quiet because I'm listening. Positioning myself to always hear the master when he speaks. And I know that God still speaks today because I don't always like what he has to say. Like how he tells me that I keep getting off track because I keep looking back, afraid that my better days are behind me. Steady listening when I know the devil is lying to me because it's easier to believe the worst about yourself. It's easier to remain stagnant than try something new and push past it. Easier to conceive rather than believe and leave yesterday holding the lessons you learned. It's a struggle, y'all. A struggle to constantly renew your mind when you don't see the signs on the outside of the changes that you feel on the inside. And it's a struggle. A struggle to constantly renew your mind when you don't see the changes on the outside of the changes that you feel on the inside, like how my church continues to ask me to preach about tithes and offering when I'm financially struggling, but I never say no. Never say no, even though I can't seem to keep my bank account out of the red. Drive a car that leaks on the inside and has an AC that's dead. So literally, you can say that I got a sauna in my Honda. And did I mention that we live in Florida where the summer lasts all year round? Yeah, I'm admonishing others and they're giving like my life is financially sound and spending more than I have because I have to. Have two daughters that remind me often to keep walking it out, but off my job don't count. My boss even told me that he gets scared every time I ask him, can we talk? Because he always thinks that I found a better job, which is kind of funny. But not when you consider he ain't never scared enough to give me more money. I guess you can call me the modern day biblical Joseph before the promotion, interpreting dreams. Or you can say I'm David before he became king, continuing to dodge death before finally making it to the throne. And I bet we all thought the same thing. How long? How long before our moment in the sun comes? How long before everything that's happened in my life makes sense? And when I get it, will I still be able to enjoy it? Because bitterness can leave an aftertaste that even Colgate and Listerine can't clean, but I still walk it out. Even though I have doubts in the mouth that make Charlie Brown look like Dr. Phil, so y'all feel me. I come clean about being filthy. Tell the truth about the lies I hide. Like how I secretly contemplated suicide because they say death is certain, and I just want something that I can be sure of so I can stop worrying, so I can silence the angels and demons holding my soul in escrow, caught between the power of green and gold like Green Lantern and Sinestro. But they must be pretty valuable because they Anthony Hamilton can't let go, won't leave me be. My 79-year-old mama is still praying for me, and I am dying to make her proud, but I can't seem to put the bottle down. Can't throw off my crutches for nothing. I'm angry, bitter, serving God, and still feeling like a sinner. And I want to appreciate how much he's blessed me, but all I can see are the same things continuously replayed like Groundhog Day, like a glitch in the Matrix. Glitch in the Matrix. Can't see the changes even when I look for them. So I refocus. I count backwards from 10. I'm told to look again. I'm reminded of Hebrews chapter 12, verse 10. Those who God loves, he disciplines. He withholds and corrects. So part of the reason why I haven't made it yet is probably because I can't handle it. I'm too immature and overly anxious to get there. And God will not put more on you than you can bear, success included. So Lord, move it if it's blocking my path. Because even though I don't know where I'm going, I'm hoping that if I keep walking, I'll at least know when I get there.
Y'all know we have it, Mr. Wally be the man, the myth, the legend himself. My mentor of many people. I can't just claim a mentor of many people. Amazing father, amazing person. Man, Wally B from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul. Thank you for agreeing to do the interview on Solid Sundays today. We got Blue Bailey. She said, snap, snap, Sunny, success. What did I say? Success included. Oh yeah. Oh word, Sonny man, you've been amazing. Thank you for tuning in and watching and commenting today. Blue, thank you for logging in. Future Dr. Star, thank you for logging in and commenting and being with us. Wally B, thank you again for all the service that you do for mankind and womankind. We got Dr. Moten jumped in and said, absolutely amazing. Dr. Moten, thank you for tuning in today. It'll be an honor to have you on the show and share your journey too as well, Dr. Moten. I'm sorry, Dr. Wally B. We got the comments coming in. I just want to make sure we address everybody.
Sure.
Walk it out. Still pushing forward. My 100-year-old auntie Geraldine would say, keep going. Rest in peace. Pushing through chapter 4. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We got not in the sharing mood. And we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Keith Rogers. He got on to give us
wow.
in back talk. And to that we say talk back. Dr. Star, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all, for those of y'all who's watching, thank y'all for tuning in to Solid Sundays. Y'all be great like the Lakes. Be blessed like a sneeze. Next week, we'll be tuning in. We have Mr. Attorney Mutaki Akbar. He will be joining us on the Solid Sundays platform next Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, peace and blessings, love and light. Wally B, if you can stay on for me for a hot second, good sir.
No problem. Thanks for having me.